With Avengers Endgame coming up, I'm reviewing some of the Marvel movies to get, pumped up for it, and for you to get pumped up for it, and just sharing my updated thoughts on some of these movies. And so today we're going to be talking about Captain America, the Winter Soldier. But before I go on with my review, here's a little message. Before I go on, don't forget to smash that like button, smash that share button, and if you're new here, smash that subscribe button so you can watch more reviews like this one, and give a little tap to the gray bell icon for notifications on my latest uploads. Back to the review. Captain America the Winter Soldier was directed by Anthony and Joe Russo in their Marvel Cinematic Universe debut, and this movie is about Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, trying to get used to the modern world, but however, S.H.I.E.L.D. starts to act a little bit weird, especially when some people start targeting him. And so he starts to discover that maybe S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't what he thought it was. And along the way, he meets this foe named the Winter Soldier who comes up out of nowhere and just does a random terrorist act, or even just a flat out attacking Steve Rogers. And then he just disappears as if he was never there at all. Now, oddly enough, the first time I ever saw Captain America the Winter Soldier, I didn't like it that much. I thought it was kind of boring. But after a subsequent viewing a couple years later, I was like, wait, no, this movie's great. What was I thinking? Captain America the Winter Soldier then became my favorite MCU movie. Until some other MCU movies came out, but we'll get to those later on. Captain America the Winter Soldier is not only one of the best Marvel movies out there, it's one of the best comic book movies ever made. This is a straight-up political thriller. If there were some people who are not really into the whole comic book movie thing and don't really watch them, I would suggest them to watch Captain America the Winter Soldier. This is a straight-up political thriller. It doesn't even resemble a superhero film. Like, the action is very different from what you'd see in a superhero movie, and even the whole subtext and all the spy espionage stuff is not stuff you'd normally see in a comic book superhero film, and that's what makes it really, really special. Steve Rogers was always pretty cool, but he's never been interesting. He started becoming interesting once this movie came out. This movie has his perception on, the US government change completely. And this is also what brings him to his decision in Captain America Civil War, which we'll discuss in a later video. This is a guy who grew up his entire life supporting the government on no matter what decisions they made, going, yeah, these guys are great. But seeing as how many years have passed since World War II, we've become a little bit more suspicious of the government, and so is he. Now, for us, it was a pretty slow transition. Like, I'm not saying it's good, but it was a slow transition from us, supporting government, like, yay, yay, to really questioning whatever they do. In this movie, it hits him like that. It hits him like a ton of bricks, and he has to quickly rethink everything he knows about the government within the span of like 1 or 2 or maybe 3 days. Now let's talk about Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. Again, she's always been cool. She's always been a pretty cool character, but she's never been interesting. She becomes pretty interesting in this film. I think she gets even more interesting in Age of Ultron, but she's still very fascinating in this film. You start to really piece together the kind of spy that she is. And of course, let's talk about the villain this movie is named after, the Winter Soldier. We kind of know at this point who he is, but just in case you've somehow not figured out who is the Winter Soldier, I'm not gonna tell you. But this, for a while, was my favorite MCU villain. Now, some people would try to make an argument against that, considering what you find out happens. But I still feel like that in this movie, he still plays an antagonistic role. He still goes after Steve Rogers. He still tries to kill Steve Rogers. And I do feel like it does make him an MCU villain. The action sequences, oh my god. Granted, Civil War stepped up the action even more, but for a while, this was probably the best action we've ever seen in the MCU. I mean, the editing is done so well when it comes to the fight scenes. The sound design is really nice. And of course, the stunt work is just incredible to look at. Like, there are even parts where you could see that, Chris Evans is actually there, doing the stunts. I mean, he's not doing the death-defying stunts, but in fight scenes, he is doing that. And it really, really looks amazing. It's some of the best action we've ever seen in any superhero film, to be honest. Also, I'm going to tell you something that I found out that really made me shocked. I was like, wait, If you don't know, in the Oscars of 2015 for the movies of 2014, Captain America the Winter Soldier was nominated for Best Visual Effects that year. And I've always wondered that because the effects in Winter Soldier are very good, but I don't know about Best Visual Effects worthy. I mean, we've kind of seen this stuff done before. And even though it's being done before, nothing about it springs, yeah, this is like one of the best visual effects of the year. However, apparently one thing I didn't know was that I'm not really giving anything away here, especially I'm not going to talk about any of the stuff that happens during the scene, but if you don't know, old Peggy Carter makes an appearance in this film. Like, she's old, she's in bed and whatnot. Now, I thought that was like some really great makeup, because like, wow, that's actually really good. Turns out that's not makeup, that's actually CGI. No joke. I was like, wait a minute! You're telling me that what they did with Peggy Carter in this movie was not a makeup effect? It was CGI? Like, after looking at that, I can probably see why it was nominated for Best Visual Effects, because I didn't even realize that she was CGI. Like, they had they had Haley Atwell, the actress who plays Peggy Carter, they had her there with just a few dots on her face, and I guess they just used CGI to make her look older. So yeah, it just goes to show you that even a movie expert like me, especially someone who's really into visual effects, can sometimes not even notice when there's a really good visual effect right in front of me. I just wanted to bring that up because I don't really think many critics have. I think everyone else just assumed that that was makeup. So yeah, I love Captain America the Winter Soldier. It is one of the best Marvel movies out there. And it was just the start of what the Russo brothers could do, leading up to their directorial efforts in Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame. So yeah, I definitely recommend seeing this movie. It is utterly fantastic. I really hope you've watched it. So, yeah, have you seen Captain America the Winter Soldier? Let me know down in the comments below what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a like, and share it so that we can get the channel circulated, bringing more attention to it. Don't forget to support my Patreon on my Patreon page, or if you can't do that, then consider supporting me through my PayPal donation button in the description below. And if you want to see more, click this.